Stunning, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives. The sun sets on fire, tell me your desires. We're not getting tired, baby, take me higher. I'm Sunday, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it, boy. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives. Give it to me, baby, all night. We can keep on dancing all night. Give it to me, baby, all night. Give it to me, baby, all night. We can keep on dancing all night. Give it to me, baby, all night. Love me
Welcome back to another Habs Nation live tonight show with the hockey coach, go coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. Welcome back, everybody, on the great Sunday night, July 16, 2023. And we have tonight back in the house directly from Toronto downtown, Bays and the Caveman. Wait to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. The co-host of the show tonight is back. Welcome back, Mr. Enor Tap is in the house tonight.
Hello, Coach, and hello, Hockey Nation. Always great to be together and talk hockey.
Always a pleasure to have Mr. Nartap in the house. The great evening talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, as you was your weekend, Mr. Nartap, on the middle of the July already. If you will live in Canada, it's maybe, 4 more weeks summer, and then it's over?
That's about it. Unfortunately, we seem to have gone down to 2 seasons rather than 4. But that's okay. You take it as it comes, and you make the best of every opportunity you get. You got to live by the moment.
That's awesome to hear that. Hopefully, everybody have an amazing, great weekend. Of course, it's the summer for many of you, and hopefully you take advantage and opportunity to have a great time with your family and your friends. And I was at Bangkok this weekend, Mr. Tap. I did a short trip in Bangkok for 2 days. 34 and 37 Celsius during the weekend. I went to the park. It's called the Lamphini Park, downtown Bangkok. So it's really in the middle of the Bangkok. It's a park where open up at 4:30 in the morning until 10 p.m. A ton of people do kind of exercise. For the first time, when I live in Miami, I have some kind of iguana in my park or my condominium, But at that park, I don't know. It was not, a crocodile. It was not an alligator, but it was like kind of a reptile. Not like 6 inches, like really big, honestly. And they have some kind of tongue, and they look at you, and I don't know. So it was my first time I see those kind of creature at the park. So it was really interesting to see that. They have some kind of exercise, Mr. Natap. People exercise a lot over there. They have kind of meet the food, the breakfast, the morning, the assembly, the family. It's really unique when you go there. Right there downtown, really, the Bangkok. So it was my experience for the weekend. I really enjoyed it. And of course, I went to the Nana Street Friday night. And then we have a good time. So that's the most important thing. Well, a lot of people knock the door, Mr. Nartap. First of all, welcome, Mr. and Adam Berger, back from Italy, Mr. Nartap. I don't know if he brings some bread and some kind of wine with him. I don't know, but
Mozzarella.
yeah, that's you know exactly Italian, Mr. Natap. Adam, 40 Celsius in Italy, Mr. Natap. Hopefully, you have been chance to visit the Vatican, Rome, and many other locations. You can have some stuff like that. We have a few people in the chat, Mr. Natap. We're going to welcome everybody very quickly, and I cannot say one by one welcome, but I'm going to mention your name, and then we're going to talk about the subject. We have Adam Berger is in the house, Sebastian back in the house, Mr. Natap. First time, I believe. Fan forever is in the house. If you are the first time, welcome in the family. If not, welcome back in the house. Larry Lavalley, Mr. Nartap, is back from the upstate New York. We miss him for the last couple of days. Hopefully, Mr. Larry, you're doing well. We miss you every time when you're not here. So glad to having you again. Adam is back from Italy. We mentioned to you. Luciano Graziano, the moderator, is in the house tonight. Another from Ontario. AK Andy Coivola is in the house, Mr. Natap, directly from Alberta. AK is on the road, Mr. Natap, is the winner of the quiz and the last two time, back to back. AK, congratulations. Hopefully, you're going to be until the end. 3 fun questions tonight, Mr. Natap. You're going to enjoy it, though. It's hockey, but facts. Some of them are facts, so it'll be interesting to see that. It'll be fun to everybody to enjoy those questions. Mr. Deal or No Deal, but we have the real deal is in the house. The RDP is in the house tonight. What about Arvada, downtown Denver? Mr. Willie Snyder is in the house tonight. Welcome back, Willie. Following by Anne Rabinoff, our friend Anne Rabinoff, big fan of the Montreal Canadiens, is in the house tonight. Welcome back. We have to go all the way to find our friend RJ Calabro is in the house. Mr. Update with all information about what's going on around the NHL and a great supporter of the channel. Thanks so much to be with us. Adam talk about the trip. Glad to hear that. Mr. Adam Dab Abs is in the house. Mr. Tap, he believe Jaden Straubel will make the Abs. So we're going to talk about this in the next couple of minutes. We'll see if we have a chance to make the team. Try to pick it up, everybody. William McClary, Mr. Snowmobile is in the house. Now he's waiting for the snow coming back. We have a couple of months, Mr. William. Be patient. You're far to be back on your snowmobile for the next. Maybe you use an Honda on your tricycle. Who knows about that, Mr. Natap. We have Kind Pick. I think it's Kind Pick. I could be wrong. But Edo from Edmonton, another one from Edmonton. You just sit beside AK. Who knows, Mr. Natap? Maybe they are together. We'll see. Gary back in the house. Welcome back, Gary. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Thanks again to see you. Joseph Phyllis is in the house. Joseph, always a pleasure. Followed by our friend Tony. Back in the house, Tony the Dagger, Mr. Natap, you know, the Kellogg's about that. We don't now, Kalachuk continue getting. We're going to get there, the Kalachuk a little bit later. The Komado Dragon. Coach question, you get enough supply watermelon? Yes, we have a lot of fruit for the week, Sebastian. We get there very well. Mario D is in the house. Thanks so much, Mr. Mario D. I believe it's the first time here. If you are welcome in the house and welcome in the family of the Hockey Nation Live Show. Carlos Benavides. Buenas noches, Mr. Carlos. Como está, Mr. Carlos? Claude Richard from Ottawa is in the house. Welcome back for us, Claude Richard for Ottawa, of course. And Mr. Red, welcome back. When you think about Red, Mr. Natap, who are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know who Red is. I'll be honest with you.
The referee in NHL. Red?
Red Berenson?
I think it was Red Story, no?
Oh, Red Story.
Right?
Sorry,
right?
Red
Yeah.
Red Berenson was a player.
Yeah. Red Berenson
Yeah,
at the Blues was another player missing at top. But Red Surrey,
yeah,
what a great, some referee make an impact in the game, right? Like Carey Fraser. But Red Surrey was really the one in 2016. Carry on like a lot of great, was a great guy to interview, by the way. I never interviewed him, but listening to him a lot of
yes.
time. Was a great to see that. What is not our other question? Do you think the New Hook comments was strange from the perspective and the Avalanche fans, Mr. Laptop? I don't know if you hear about this.
No, I'm not sure what the comments were.
And you talk about the fact like the, his time with Avalanche where he had an opportunity but he did not take it. Sometimes he was maybe not the right fit for him and he was like 50-50. He didn't want to blame only the Avalanche. He took responsibility of his own too at the same time. So he's sharing his thought about the fact like he did not play on the second line when he got his opportunity. Maybe he did not have enough time to express. So as a Colorado Avalanche, you maybe wait. At the end of the day, Mr. Top is only 22 years old, so he tried to have a big role to take the Kadri example, or Len Dagag was out, and at 21, 22, it was maybe too much for him to fill up that spot for the center number 2. So I don't see like badly or negative. Willie, I just feel like it's more like as a kid tried to establish himself in NHL, and like I said, he did not was to not negative about anything. He just take a blame about himself where he feel like it was maybe like a part it was a color of an edge for him, as a part it was himself. So he tried to move on and to be ready for the Montreal Canadiens. That's the best I can express to you, Mr. Tap. At least you have something to add.
No, I'm glad that he actually did a self check, and at the top of that list, he had himself to sort of blame for whatever success he didn't achieve, or at least not to the level that he wanted to. And that's important because sometimes when you point your finger around you to many different people and incidences, and you don't look closely in the mirror, then you're not ready to grow to the next stage, right? So at least here it shows that he has some self ownership, and he needs to improve on that portion as well.
Well said. I agree with you. By the way, Mr. Nata, Red is our friend Alexis Dubois. Alexis been here
Oh,
for
okay.
many years,
Yes.
and is up and down. Sometimes he left, sometimes he come back. But look, we love you, Alexis. We miss you, and hopefully
Welcome.
you're doing well. He's from Quebec, province of Quebec, Alexis, and him and Nicolas de Gauby-Bonneau are the two youngest at the time, and actually now maybe 19 now. I can be wrong about his age, but always have a good question about the draft or about prospect Red, so we call him Alexis. So glad to sharing with us, Mr. Alexis. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Show. We have Mr. Mario D said, often watch but L really live. Great show. Thanks so much, Mario D, for your express your feedback about the show. Very glad to hear that about this one over there. Try to get my friend Roger Butch Bouchard is in the house. Mr. Nata Butch is
Welcome,
directly for
Roger.
Vermont at the border of the Massachusetts and the Vermont, if I can recall it. New York was Russia into the NHL straight out of the BCHL. William McClary talk about that, Mr. To be at that line with there. Sebastian Main over Glug saying thanks so much about this, Roger. How many games will Monahan play for the Habs this season, Mr. Tap?
Well, I wonder, Roger, how you mean that. Do you mean because of possible injury, or the possibility that he might get traded?
Maybe what he's
That's my
thinking about how many games you expect him to play this year. And I would say that, after that, maybe you're thinking about maybe 45 because he's going to be traded at the trade deadline.
I think so. I think that definitely should happen if he stays healthy, of course. I don't anticipate him going the full season with Montreal. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely about this. A lot of people talk about New Hook. You have Troy Curtis. Welcome back in the house. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes if you don't mind. Why is Anaheim taking long on seeing Trevor Zegras, Carlos?
I don't know. I think that they've been involved quite a bit now with a lot of the free agents that were around. They're trying to settle that and get an idea of where they stand cap situation wise. But that's only my personal take on that. I'm not really certain why it's taking as long as it is.
The only thing I think what I heard, the last thing I heard is the longevity of the contract. So Zegras may be willing to sign only 1 or 2 years, will take advantage of the increasing salary cap is coming very soon. And then the NMDOC would like to go like a Caulfield did, a long-term contract. So that's the only thing they are right now between. But I don't see any problem. You're going to find a way to satisfy both parties at some point. It's not like a negative or something like this. I think Bat Rubik have a lot of things to do during the draft, everything like that. It's just like a formality. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And I think that's what is the biggest question behind is the longevity of the contract, I believe, Mr. Nortap.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Mr. Nortap, ask you, what do you think about Quentin Miller? Goaltender draft by the Montreal Canadiens.
Miller, I mean, I still think that he's going to have to obviously perform for 2 or 3 more years before we get a true idea of where he stands in terms of the organizational development and how far he'll go. He seems to be relatively promising, but I don't know a heck of a lot about him to actually comment on that, Coach.
Yeah, Quentin Miller is a very interesting pick, right? He played only 1 game in the QM with the Quebec Rempart, played junior before that, played AAA before on the midget. It takes time for him. It's a long shot with him. They expect him. They was scout many times by the ex-player for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm thinking about Boisvert. It's not Boisvert. His son got drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, but he never made the NHL. I forgot about his name right now. I see him. He's a short 5'7", 5'9" player playing in NHL. They have a good career in NHL. Jesus. Anyhow.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Gayet, but he's not Gayet.
He's still very young. Miller's still very young. I think he's 17, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a big goalie.
Yeah,
he's out of the Q, right? I believe he's out of the Q.
Well, he played only 1 game with Quebec about last year, so he's going to be interesting. Right. He was behind the third goaltender over there because Rousseau was ready to carry on the load for the Red Quebec Rempart.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be a long shot. It's more of a project than anything else. He was picked, I don't know, somewhere around the 130th by Montreal this year. So, you never know. Goalies also develop at a very different pace. Like sometimes, they develop quickly. Some of them take a long time before they see the NHL, and some don't see the day of light. So. He's going to have some breaks along the way in order to get to the professional league.
Sure. We have a lot of questions in the chat, Mr. Antap. We're going to stop here. Said the last one said Tony asked about why not calling Anaheim. Tony, I would like to know a little bit more what is about to calling Anaheim, for which reason. But Mr. Antap, let's go back. What we're supposed to do is talk about the people, what we're doing tonight. It's about 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. But first of all, guys, tonight we're going to talk about the different things, the ad news and update. We'll give you a bit what's going on with Montreal Canadiens. We last time we spoke all together was at Wednesday night. We're going to give you a little bit some update. If you follow my channel, I do every day ad daily news. Today we talk about ad rumor between the Washington Capitals and Montreal Canadiens. Again, I want to share with you some comments I got the last couple of days. Those proposal guys, it's all about entertaining, create some kind of conversation behind the scenes. So it's not like, the Montreal talk already. I just pick up some kind of proposal on the social media. Sometimes I modify the rumor, and that's the reason behind. So don't expect everything I said in the rumor is going to happen. It's just kind of conversation, entertaining for hockey. So hopefully you're going to understand. And then finally, I started a series called "The Great Moment in Hockey." I make some kind of video where it's about 2-3 minutes about something happening in NHL history. Last Friday, I think, or 2 days ago, it was the Canada Cup. Today we talk about Evgeny Malkin, is a big run and 36 points in 2009, 14 goals and 22 assists. It was the Connie Smythe winner about that. And then finally, guys, if you're not subscribed, we create a new channel called the Habs Nation. It's not active yet, but you can subscribe at the channel. Going to make some kind of videos on the year. But I just want to invite you, if you don't mind. The channel is going to put the link at the bottom of the chat at some point. And don't forget, please, to click on the like. That's what we have, Mr. Nartap, on this show tonight. But before we start, guys, I want to share with you something. The purpose of the channel when we make this is to have, I did not know the outcome of that. I just enjoy the journey, the process, and I just love to talk about hockey. And now we invite more people, and we create some kind of family, friendship, relationship. We create all together. Whatever you are, a co-host, a moderator, or only a person participate to the show live streaming, or you're just watching the video, or you're a member, or the way you support, we want to thank you. But we create some kind of the friendship at some point. Some people directly text me, email me on my social media, everything like that. I create some kind of really good friendship. And then we know last week we talked about André Robert Drouin. He was one of the big fans of the show. Unfortunately, only about, I would say, maybe 4 months, 5 months, he found our channel. And he become really active in the chat, more about on my app Daily News. He was always typing some kind of comments, and then he become a little bit closer and closer with me about live, everything like that. But at the end of the day, we knew at some point, he have some kind of cancer, everything like that, and he was battled for that for over 6 years. And last week, the last show, we did the show for him, and Andre was still live with us, but unfortunately he lost his battle of the cancer during the weekend, and he passed away. He was a little bit over 74 years old. I could be a little bit wrong about his age, but I know, honestly, he was over 70 years old. And I just want tonight to make a little bit something special for him. I know he's watching live for the first time for the top of the event, but I'm sure he's smiling for us. And so let's see, give him something about André Robert Drouin, Mr. Top, if you don't mind, for the chat. So we take about 2 minutes, and then let's see what we have for you guys for Mr. André Robert Drouin, our best friend of the Hockey Nation. Her friend, André Robert Drouin, yeah, I'm emotional in front of me, but he told me one thing. He said, please keep smiling for me because I'm watching you. So I just want to say thank you, André, for the last couple of months to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show family. And that's what, for me, it make me to come back every day stronger, better, and smiling more because you make me to come back more often. People like André Robert Drouin. So I just want to share it with you guys. Our friend passed away again during the weekend. Unfortunately, Mr. Tap, I emailed him one more time and he could not to email me back. And then the only thing I wish I would have another news from him, but that's life, right? I know you maybe connect at the
Absolutely.
last maybe 1 week before that, so maybe what you think about Andre Rabaya, Mr. Nata.
Well, indeed, it's very sad, but you're at that point where you're suffering quite a bit. I'm sure he's definitely at peace with everything. I think he's an extremely strong individual who I don't know if I'd have the strength to on a nightly basis to join in on a podcast or a show like this. Um, or anything of that nature if I'm in that state, right, like where you see your life is literally flashing before you and your days are numbered. But I had the opportunity to email him last week, and not expecting a response. I just wanted to express that we're all one big happy family here, that we were happy that he was able to join us at some point and make a difference even in our society as well as in Hockey Nation, and that very very respectful individual. And then to my surprise, a day later he emailed me back, and he was surprised that I emailed him, and but his words really put me to tears. He was looking for an opportunity to finally be without pain, and he really valued what he saw here on the show, in what you've established as a community coach, and just set to continue doing what we're doing, because it's you never know how you could be touching people in different ways when they're having different problems in their lives, and he couldn't be more truthful to that than it actually turned out to be. So rest in peace, Andre. We love you, and any surviving family, our prayers are with you.
Well said, Mr. Nata. He's always watching Maurice Rocket. He told me he's going to be a part of the team over there, so he can wait to watch those players there. Look, he's a guy fighter cancer for the last 7 years, and the last 6, 7 months he struggled more about a bone cancer, and the suffer he got the last 2 weeks was unbelievable. But I want to thank each one of you in the chat because you make the difference. Those people like them. A lot of people are lonely at the end of their life. They have nothing. They can hanging out with something, and that Montreal Canadian was his life. Go as a goaltender, and he been go through many adversity about the health, obviously for him. But he fight until the last minute, and show me is like he showed me a perseverance, never gave up, and his mindset it was really amazing. It was replied to me, Mr. Dab, the only reason he still alive for guys for 6 more weeks. It was a Montreal Canadian in the draft, and everything conversation was great for him. So with the best, RIP. Hopefully, Mr. Andre, we're going to see you very soon at some point, and can't wait to talk more about hockey with you. That's what I'm going to miss a lot with Andre.
Absolutely.
Let's move on, guys, for what we got tonight. We're going to go what we are back at tonight. First of all, Willie said, do you see Newhook as a center number 2, Mr. Natap?
Possibly, eventually. I don't see it right away at this point. But if he can start to live to his expectations, that could definitely happen.
Well said about this. Mr. Joseph asked, can you see Beck as a number 3 or 4 center this year?
That's an interesting one. I think it'll depend on if there's any additional movements happening this year. And I'm talking about, we already know that Dvorak's going to be out for a while. Where are they going to play Monahan? Will they play him as a center? Will they play him as a winger on that first line? Are they going to play Doc on the wing with the first line, or will they put Doc on the second line as a centerman? So I think a lot of questions have to be answered prior to us addressing that. Um, all of that is said, though. I mean, if he gets an extra year under his belt, it's definitely not going to hurt him. I think that the development for him is going very well, and so why rush it right now? If unless it's an emergency, I say take the extra year, and there's definitely going to be a position for him available down the road, possibly next year, um, and that's maybe the best way to go.
Yeah, well said about that. I think for him it would be like to let next great impression about what he can do. It would take him an amazing great camp to make the spot for the roster because last year he don't have a lot of competition around him over there, and it was no expectation to be a part of the roster. This year, too many extra skaters. It would take a lot of things could happen around him before he have an opportunity to play with the Montreal this year. So at the end of the day, I don't see him to be a part of right now. But you never know. Maybe he can, impress again everybody, and then he can maybe have an opportunity. But I don't see this could happen. Mr. Google account is in the house. Welcome back. Thanks to be with us.
Welcome,
Gary Cournoyer is in the house, Mr. Tap. Welcome back,
welcome,
Mr.
Gary.
Right now, Mr. Red, Mr. Alexi give us the name, Mr. Tap. It was Donald Odette, the players I was talking about for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
great. Again, Alexi knows everything about draft and prospect scout. So Alexi, thank you so much to helping me about that one over there. Butch, who would be the unexpected player to make the ab out of the training camp, Mr. Tap? Give me one or two
Oh
names,
goodness.
maybe three.
Well,
We just talk
obviously
about Beck.
Melo. Yeah, Beck is a possibility. Melo could be, although I think that's a little bit less of a shot than Beck. I mean, could Yolanen maybe make it? I don't think so. I think that they're gonna probably he's gonna probably be at Laval and be one of the first call ups. Um, Definitely the defensive core is pretty much set. I don't see anybody
I will give
else.
you some name. I'm not saying going to make it, but it maybe could surprise with unexpected. It will be Logan Mailloux for the Montreal Canadiens, the defenseman. It could
Yeah,
become that players. And I would say
maybe
two other
Raw
names forward, Mr. Tap. Emil Henneman and
yeah
Lias Anderson.
over Raw. You think
I'm sorry?
over Raw, Roy?
Um, yes. I think they're going to give one more year at Roy to start 1 year in the Laval Rocket. So that's,
Yeah,
the unexpected players I'm thinking about, right? And so Mayu, and then I'm going to go Anderson and Hanneman, three player. Allen, I consider him already like not in the team, but played last year a couple of games. So I don't 34, 37 games. So I don't see, I would not be surprised part of the game. But Hanneman, Anderson, and Mayu are three players I'm really looking for if they can make a spot for the upcoming season on my side.
yeah, yeah.
We'll see. Thanks so much, Sebastien. Mr. 83 in the house. Don't forget, to click on the likes. What is your analysis on ab goaltender prospect Emmett Croteau?
Well, Emmett was selected, I believe, in 2022 by Montreal.
Yep, 6th round.
Somewhere, yeah. I mean, he's a big goalie, coach. I mean, I think he's around 6'4", 6'5". He's over 200 pounds. But I mean, so far, things haven't progressed very well. Like if you look at his stats, they haven't been overly impressive, especially if you look at his save percentage. Now that could be more reflect. I think he's in the, if I'm not mistaken, he's with the U.S.
USHL with the Waterloo Blackhawks.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, the competition is relatively good there too. So I don't know. I don't see his stats really standing out at this point. He's got a save percentage that's like maybe around 905, something like that. It's not something that's going to open up a lot of eyes just yet. But again, we gotta give these guys time. He's only I think he's only 19 right now. So, like I said before, goalies usually take a longer time to develop properly. So we'll see, but I wouldn't hold out a lot of hope for him.
Yeah, again, I would suggest maybe for everybody, but maybe for me, start goaltender in that level, like junior or USHL. I'm not too much worried about that. I want to see more that what he looked like between the pipe and what he how he faced the puck and everything like this. And then offensive Koto is like a 6th round. He have a long climb the mountain to get there. Offensive for him. So will be interesting. His season was so. He have a better year when the year draft. He got drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. This last year he struggled a bit more. But again, the good news about this, Mr. Type, for everybody have fans, they have a lot more goalie than there and the hockey and the club now. You talk about Fowler. Fowler is another USHL with a Youngstown team, won the MVP. They have Quentin Miller. We just talk about the Russian. They draft the MHL this season, and then already have Tobey from the Montreal. Primo is still there. So they have a couple more contender in this organization to see what they look like in the next couple of years for sure. Koto is a long shot at the end of the day, in my opinion, for him, for Mr. 83. Great question about that. Just for goalie, the 3 years on 3 contract. Does Hoffman want to be traded, Mr. Tap?
I think he does, Roger. I don't think he's happy with the situation. If you just read his body language many times last year, he wasn't happy that he was sat out some games. Some games he found himself on the third line, limited ice time as well. I don't think that that's the way he envisioned his latter years to go. So I think he would rather be with a team that's closer to winning the Stanley Cup than Montreal is at this point. Yeah, to answer your question, no, I personally don't think he's very happy here.
Yeah, we're not going to say this publicly, right? And the private,
No,
it will
no.
maybe express is more about, from members, family, everything like that, where he said, look, I would prefer to play with a team can make a more run a long term. And let's say it is a final year of his contract. So it's a really big year for him. And for it to not turn around to be, did not turn around to be a good, successful contract or successful years with the Montreal Canadiens since he joined the Montreal. Obviously for him and for the Montreal, his expectation was not there. Only 14 goals, a couple of years, the back-to-back, and it's not good enough for Mike Hoffman, where it was really more on the power play. I think he had like 7 goals and total in the last 2 seasons for Mike Hoffman, so it's not very good. Logan Mayu's situation,
It's the body language.
Yeah, that's another part of the show for sure.
Yeah.
Logan Mayu situation. So I talked about this at the app, the news today. Just want to mention a lot of fans are asking me about what's going on with him. During the playoff, Renaud Lavoie from the TV Sport mentioned they look like you're going to have a meeting between Batman and Montreal Canadiens and Logan Mayu during the Stanley Cup Final 2023. They're not happening, obviously. And look like now Gary Bettman just wait for the Montreal request at that meeting to meet with him about the Logan Mayu. It looked like they don't have no problem. It's just like a formality or to give him to reinstall or to give him eligibility to play in NHL. Can Hughes wait for that? At the right moment, and that's what we are at this look. We look like Mayu not going to returning, and OHL is going to play with the Laval Rocket and American Hockey League for the upcoming season if you don't make the roster for the Montreal. I don't know if you want to add something else about Logan Mayu or not, Mr. Natap.
Yeah, I really don't understand, Coach. To be honest with you, I don't understand the delay. I mean, it's at this point, it's a matter of just having a conversation face to face with the with the player, the president, and maybe some HAB representation as well.
Yeah.
I really don't know what the delay is on this, because
It's just
there's a lot of
the situation, right? I would say to you the playoff,
but
the
it
draft,
hinders.
the UFA, and after that you get
Yeah,
vacation all put together. They see this is not like a rush. They don't need to say, "Oh my God, we need him," because no, he can be a part of the team, but he cannot be a play yet in the NHL. So there's just a question of time for they do this. I would expect this coming happening in the next couple of weeks.
well, I hope so. I hope so that they don't prolong it any further. To me, it almost sounded like, when he's closer to being able to make the team, that's when we'll talk. And if that's the case, I think it's unforgivable. I mean, right now there's not much happening in the hockey world in terms of meeting. With Zoom and everything, you don't even have to leave your own city. You don't have to meet the person face to face either. Like it, I don't. I think it's more of a Bettman trying to exert power, and again, that's just my opinion. He's making them sweat it out, and
But
eventually, hopefully,
the comment of Batman was, we're going to assess everything what the Montreal going to request the meeting. So he did
okay,
not said,
all right,
we wait. He asked, when the Montreal Canadiens going to request the meeting, we're going to assess everything to the case of Logan Mailloux.
okay. If that's the case, then it's a little bit more of a fair assessment.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. For what he said on the I cut this somewhere, I don't know where, about that. Woody Snyder, I have a question for you guys. Who do you see as a standout defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens this season?
Well, hopefully, rather than a standout, I would rather say continue to see improvement in, and I'd like to continue to see improvement in Gooley, obviously, because I think he's trending in the absolute correct direction. Matheson, showed very, very good flashes last year, and so I'd like to see him continue that for the entire season. Hopefully, the injury to Jacky will not hinder him in any way or form. I think that it's important that he be in the lineup as much as possible as well. The other guys, again, I just want to see incremental improvement in each one of them, because I think as a collective unit, they're going to be awesome. And the ones that are going to be coming down the pipe, in the next 1, 2, 3 years, are just going to complement the group that we have now. These guys will be the ones that will have some experience. And once you get Mailloux in there, and maybe Struble, and you get Reinbacher in there, Trudeau possibly, like, these guys will just add to that core and make it, I would venture to say, one of the best NHL defensive core in the entire league.
Yeah, I would say for me it's Gaydon Cooley. I think he's the core of this defensive for the Montreal Canadiens. He's really the one who's going to make a big difference and the first serve for Montreal. He's the guy can be from D3 to D2 to D1, and you can see the impact when he came back from an injury. The blue line was already transformed by his play. So he's a guy who can carry on at 23, 24, 25 minutes per game at some point when he's going to be a little bit more older. And for me, it's really important he can come back stronger after a couple of injuries he got last year. So for that's really the one. Of course, he had a sophomore. This is a little bit worry me, the second year of other players. Look about what happened to Cedar. Look about what happened to Lucas Raymond last year. So we see how they're going to respond at Jacky, Harris, and Cooley and Kovacevic for the upcoming season. So we'll see. Mr. Alan Barnes is the house, Mr. Latap. Welcome back. Luciano said if you trade Mike Hoffman, you have to retaining some money. You're absolutely right about this, Luciano. Maybe. And maybe give another a pick in return or something like that. How many points do you see Sakoski produce next season, Mr. Latap?
Well, it'll be interesting. He's probably one of the players that I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's progressed since last year. Like it's been a long haul. It's not just been the playoffs in the summer. For him, it's been since he got injured that we haven't seen him in action. And if we're fair to the assessment, we were seeing a little bit of improvement in his play just before he got injured. And I know this summer he's been working with some special coaches as well, and apparently, they're working on the fact that they want to keep his head up as much as possible. He's worn special types of glasses as well that help give him more peripheral viewing and be aware of what's happening around him. And so far they're saying that he's looking much better. So I'd be very interested in seeing where it takes him this year. I think he's the kind of guy that's very determined to prove that he hit Montreal picking him at the position that he did was not a mistake, and he has a lot of confidence in himself. He just doesn't. He has to make sure he doesn't overdo it and just develop as the time comes. And I think we're going to see something surprising out of him. I would say about 45 points would not be out of the question.
Okay, I will go only with 10 to 15 goals and maybe 25, 30 points will be where I expect him to have this year. First of all, he played only 39 games, right? So it's only, honestly, his first year back in the NHL because he didn't play a lot of games, whatever it's called him, the year number 2. Secondly, because the Montreal Canadiens roster lineup they have in front of him is going to be more the time his TOI at the bottom 6. It's not going to have his time on the power play number 1. It's going to be some time on the power play number 2. So the TOI is going to be a really an important situation for the outcome, the number, the point at the end of the year. So at the way Martin St. Louis coach, where he was said we develop, but we try to win. He will sit sometime at the third period at Sakoski, and he maybe use another players, a veteran players in NHL. So my point at the end is the TOI would be reflecting what is going to happen to Sakoski at the end. I don't expect too much in return for me, Mr. Tap. 10, 15 goals, 30 points. That would be a very good year for Sakoski. About 12 to 13 minutes per game maximum.
You went down a little bit. I thought you had around 40, 45.
Yeah. So that would be my point of view about that one there. Great question for Gary. He said, I think that could become number 1 golden center, number 1 for the Montreal Canadiens. What do you feel about that?
He could. I wouldn't put it past him, Gary. I think he does have all the tools. He's got the size that's a mandate for being a number 1 centerman. I think we'll have to sort of wait and see how the lines balance out, right? I think we're going to see at the beginning of the year, we're going to see quite a bit of mixing of lines just to see how the chemistry with certain lines are, who plays best with the two pairings, like let's say Caulfield and Suzuki. What's a better match? Is it Monahan on the wing with them? Is it Doc on the wing with them? Possibly Anderson. So you're going to see Martin St. Louis testing a few players out and seeing where he's getting that productivity from. And I think that's what's going to mandate whether he's going to be a number 1 or not down the road. But he definitely has the tools. I from what I saw last year, it leads me to believe that he's got the potential.
Yeah, I would be a little bit different for you. I think they're going to use Dak only center. If you want to develop him as a center, it will not be benefit for him to use him as a winger for Suzuki and Caulfield. So I think they're going to use him now to become number 1, number 2. I will say to you, Gary, and maybe you, Mr. Tap. Remember the punch at Dressado, McDavid, or Crosby, Malkin example, right? 1-2, 1-2. Mm-hmm. So both of them are great center number 1 if you put them on the other team. I think Doc and Zuski are going to be really number one at the same time. Both of them could become 70 point to 85 point in NHL. I would not be surprised if they accomplish this. So I don't see who will be number one. Only thing I think going to have a bunch 1 and 2 between Zuski and Doc that will help the Montreal Canadiens at some level the next in the future. That remind me, guys, if you look about Ottawa, Mr. Tap, Josh Norris and Tim Souza. That's a great example right now who they are, number one, number two. And you can consider Norris play with Kachuk, or you can consider Norris would play Souza play with Giroux, who's number one. It's very hard to tell at the end of the day, but great point, Gary, about that. Mr. Mark G in the house, Mr. Tap, great comments about this. Just watching the winning goal of 1996 Cup. Excellent. William, you're welcome. The 20 question. We enjoyed just talking and said another point of view on the team we love. Well said, Mr. Tony. I appreciate the strong line, not that line interchangeable. One, Mr. Mark G. Mr. RG with, don't forget to click on the likes. And Rabinoff, a lot of people talk about RFP. Andre, thanks so much for all the comments here in the chat. David, thanks so much. Roger, Gary, Real Deal. He's on the better place. I agree with you about this. Thanks so much, everybody, for that. About this. Detroit Tiger is in the house. Yes, he is. Good evening. Mr. KLS knocked the door. Welcome back. Thanks to be with us. Sébastien, thanks so much. André Renbenoff. KLS. Joe Manella, co-joint an orchestra. Thanks so much, Joe, to be with the Hockey Nation Show tonight. Mr. Frederick, thanks so much. Your comments. 83. Larry. Mr. William. And thanks so much. Very excellent presentation, Coach. You were very proud of that. The presentation, guys, was a team effort for people in the Hockey Nation Show. So it's not only me behind that. They have people helping me to make that video. So thanks so much. Mario D talk about Serge Boisvert. It was Donald Odette, Mario D, but I was thinking about Serge Boisvert at the same time. But it was said to remind me that for me when I got there. Thanks so much, Mark. And then dip make I just pick it up everything right there. Mr. Legeno, Zeph, Detroit, Mark. I try if we have any question about this. Mr. Bush, thanks so much. We have a lot of people behind. I'm behind everything. Mr. Nata, try to pick up everything. Thanks so much, Joseph, about this. Sébastien. We made life change about Sunday. Love it. Thank you much, Larry. Then you hook some to have a certain indicator that you can trust, Mark. Yes, I agree with you about New Hook. Sébastien see New Hook with Gallagher on the third line. Thanks so much, Mr. Detroit, talking this way about his friend Andre. Old Hook, me, I'll come back. What happened to Dvorak, Mr. Natap? Any news about Christian Dvorak or anything you want to talk about Christian Dvorak?
Yeah, the injury there is knee related, and he was going to go under the knife, Roger, from everything we hear. Now, in terms of a return, they're anticipating sometime late November. But I could see this probably stretching a little bit longer unless the recovery goes really, really well. So, I mean, that will sort of open up a spot somewhere at center for, we were talking about Beck before, that there could be that possibility, unless, of course, they decide to slide somebody like Monahan in that spot and take care of it that way.
Mr. Natap is back in the house. I'm talking about, guys. Elio Biancucci, welcome back. This Mr. Natap is year number 1 at the morning show with Michael DeVillano, and 2020. Elio picked up a couple of shows with us live talking about hockey. I think it's over 2 years. I didn't see Elio, at least 1 year for sure. That's crazy. I just love to see people come back after months or year in the chat to say hi. And for me, it's like I never forget anyone. Like you pop up with your name, I can remember the person most of the time. So glad having you aboard, Mr. Leo, sharing to stop by to say hi to us. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. When I see the day would be powerful to share. What are your expectation about the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mr. Tap, if I ask you this question?
Well, they still have a core of very strong players, Coach. There's no mistaking there. I think that they did add a little bit of sandpaper as well in picking up, guys like Bertuzzi and, obviously Reeves gives them a different complexion as well. However, when you haven't really addressed, in my eyes, I don't think you've addressed your two greatest areas of need, and that was defense as well as goaltending, because we still haven't heard much about Samsonov yet. I suspect something will get done with him, of course, but you can't just go on on a wall being your number one. I think he should be your number two to start off with, anyways, and then see where that goes. But they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Atlantic division. I think that they have the potential to probably win the division. They have the talent to do that. But are they NHL playoff ready? And that's what we've been asking for the last X amount of years.
Yeah, absolutely about this. You still have a couple of things to do, right? Yeah, the situation with Murray, the situation with Samsonov, the situation with Nylander, the situation with Matthews. All those are going to make an aim, and then maybe to add something at the depth of the defenseman right side. But a new player like Domi, Reeves, Bertuzzi, and Klenberg, that's just pretty much a good team when you add already what they already have. So it'll be interesting, Toronto, but I feel like they're going to be great for the upcoming season. Carlo asked, what that the first one pick I've got for Calgary and the Sean trade? What is that, Mr. Tap?
I believe it's next year, isn't it?
Yeah, so
it's part of that complicated.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead, because I'm not even sure 100%. I know it involves how Florida does as well.
So exactly. So it's a conditional pick 2024 and involve the Calgary Flame and the Florida Panthers about if they are the bottom 10 or they draft the top 10, but now they keep the pick. And then possible Montreal get the pick of Florida Panthers, and the Florida Panthers have a better the Florida you could all the way to go 2025. So it'd be very difficult, Carlos, to explain. It's a full page with all the possibilities. You have series of possibilities could happen, but right now it's the 2024. It could transform in 2025. That would be the best answer I can give to you. And then Elio is from Montreal, by the way. Of course, he is from Montreal, our friend Elio. Glad to see you talking about Elio. Another one. What about Frank Iacono is in the house, the son of Tap. How the person don't know about other river things. No, I'm from Montreal. Glad to hear that. Jay talk about a couple of news right there. Thanks so much about this. Frederick said the culture before one you combine on the bars. Well said, Mr. Frederick. So I'm going to go through news. I'm going to consider about the news. If you have a question, Elias Anderson, NHL or OHL, Mr. Tap?
I think right now they have him for a little bit of experience down at the AHL level. He could be one of the first call-ups in case of an injury. I could see that happening because he does have a little bit of experience at the NHL, albeit not successful statistics-wise. But he's one of those individuals, Coach, that's very happy to be here. From everything I'm hearing, how he talks, he seems to be enthusiastic and to prove that he belongs.
Do you feel strange like Gordon and Bobrovsky did not talk to him yet?
A little bit. But I think it's coming.
Yeah, of course. It's just like I thought he has some kind of implication about Jeff Gordon, but well said by, again, Hughes about him. Mr. Tap, Roger asks you, how is the save percentage calculated, Mr. Tap? I think he's talking about the goaltender.
The goaltenders. Yeah, I believe they just take the number of saves made and they divide it by the shots on goal that they get in a game, and that gives you the percentage.
You're absolutely about this. Could you talk about Allen? He signed or no? Longer waiver exam. Good chance he get claimed if the Canadians try to send him to Laval. It was one of my points after him. The Montreal Canadian guys did not sign again Jesse Allen at the over $3.5 million on salary cap. So what are your expectations for Ireland to get signed for the Montreal a 1-year deal, I believe, or a two-way?
I think I think he will be signed. I think they're just trying to see right now. They're not finished. Let's put it this way. I don't think Hughes is finished tinkering with this lineup. He has way too many forwards right at this moment. So before he attacks the Yolanen contract, I think he's going to try to see if he can deal guys like Hoffman, possibly Armia, or as you said, Coach, maybe Armia might be an option to go down to Laval, and that would open up a position. But I do think that something could be in the works. Probably, I don't think over 3.5 million. I think that's way too high.
No, it's at over 3.5 on the salary cap right now.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he'd probably come close at just over $1 million around there. Just
Yeah.
around that ballpark. 1 year, probably. I would say one way.
Well, I'm sure he tried to get that part of there. If Montreal want to get an exempt, because he's not exempt anymore. So if they want to keep him, they will have to offer him a $1 million because not everybody is going to get him a $1 million to play in American Hockey League, right? At the end of the day. And that's what happened with Pitlick last season for the Montreal Canadiens. Now they could get him a 2-year contract to stop the claim by giving him a $1.1 million example. And if they go back in Laval, but at the end of the day, not many teams will maybe sign him for $1.1 million to play at the American Hockey League. But a team like Chicago, Anaheim could take a chance with that contract for sure.
Yeah.
That's happening about the case. Ireland. Great question, by the way. William said have to move Hoffman in the army, make room for the kids coming up. You're absolutely right about this for sure. Hoffman, we talk about possibly a trade where a pick come to different team in the NHL, not be easy. Montreal have to retaining money for both players. I make a trade between Manta and Armia yesterday. The reason behind that, not only that we save a little bit more money, Montreal is a great position for 2024 guys, over $15 to $25 million they're going to spend. They have to spend on the UFA if they want to. So it's coming. But to give a spot, that's what Montreal should do, Mr. Tap. And I gave, I talked under my ad daily news, Mr. Tap. Are you, how you feel about to send Armia to Laval Rocket?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that he's had ample opportunity here to produce. At this stage, we know exactly what Armia is and what he has to offer. And he does have some very good talent. He has good size. And when he puts it together, he's a very formidable player to play against. He can control the puck well. And he seems to bring his game up when he's in the playoffs a little bit. But having said that, there's more nights that he takes off that he shows up. So, you know, maybe you never know. Maybe a stint down in Laval could even improve his game, and he brings that experience down there as well. So,
well said about this. He can save $1.125 million for the Montreal Canadiens, and nobody will claim him. If his claim is on top, and his value, like I said in my updated news, is zero at the end of the night. Much. So, I think this is a great possibility. Montreal do this before they send Allen an example. Or our RHP is waiver exam, so we'll be interested about this. Randy Walkman in the house. What about our friend Dan Asham is in the house, Mr. Nartap? Knock the door.
Welcome, Dan.
Welcome back for sure. Someone talk about Mario D. Talk about Mayu et Biron. I don't think so. You want to set Biron because Paul Biron is not going to play next season. So I just want to correct maybe another player you want to mention. Please share it. Philippe, talk about chemistry, Mr. Top. You absolutely about this one. Some comments from Luciano, Randy, other people talk about Batman. I'm going to skip this, guys, but glad to everybody talk about them. I would love to Madison to just be a stud from Tony. Mike Madison has to be the leader of that defense. He's the one we have to take charge. Well said, Randy. I agree with you. What do you feel about that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's the senior on that defensive core, and right now, I think a lot of players are getting a lot out of him in terms of what he's got to offer, experience wise. And he seems, again, we always come back to the same common denominator, Coach. He seems to be a player that is very content and happy to be here in Montreal. And you can't underestimate the value of having someone that wants to be where they want it, where they're at. And I say you don't tinker with that. You allow him to grow and help out players around them.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this one. Okay, let's talk about Zeders. Good around here. Raymond definitely add to summer for Islam. Great point about this, KLS. I was not maybe too hard on Cedars, but maybe my expectation was a little bit too higher, KLS, but a great point to mention that
Yeah,
about this one.
somebody did bring up earlier that he was paired up with Sherratt
Yeah,
for quite a while, and so that's difficult. That's difficult sometimes because you're trying to be a little bit more defensively minded than Sherratt is, and it you know, and sometimes players they do have that sophomore jinx going for a year, so I wouldn't worry. He's a solid, great defenseman for Detroit that will find his game again.
yeah, so right. Gary talk about prediction for Montreal could be it would be the number one center at the end of the season. Thanks so much for all the live we got tonight. I appreciate a lot, guys. Keles said he's a top pairing guy, a lot of grits. Remember me, Chris Bronger. Yes, I agree with you about that. Keles is the kind of prototype player he can become in NHL. Well said, Mr. KLS. Does that agree, Gary? Robert is in the house. Mr. Robert,
Welcome,
thanks to
Robert.
be the Hockey Nation Live show. William said, I would take a Zeder any day on my defense. He get off his center line fast. He's clean his hands. You're absolutely right about that. You have to be careful to be around him for sure. Kelly said, is Sarkozy as a center, Mr. Tap?
No, he's a winger.
It's right about this one there. What is the role of Paul Biron this season, Mr. Zap?
Well, I don't think that they've given him an official title yet. I know he's gone in at the developmental camp and he's spoken with a lot of the players. But I mean, he's possibly looking at being a scout, maybe in that capacity, or he could be involved in some other aspect. But they definitely have plans for him to be within the organization.
What do you think about the duo, DeBrincat and Larkin, Mr. Tap?
It's going to be very potent. I like it because it takes a lot of pressure now off of Larkin in terms of being one of the primary scoring sources for Detroit. I think the Brinkat will go a long way in helping even Larkin to become a better player. I don't necessarily think that the Brinkat will change much. I mean, he is what he is. He's predominantly a goal scorer and not as much of a play setter, but he's going to benefit by having guys like Larkin on his line.
What do you feel about Primo next year? What are your expectations for Caden Primo?
Caden Primo. Again, I don't have any source to go on here about this, but my opinion would be that his time with Montreal is pretty much done. I think that he's had a few opportunities, and I know he's not old in by any stretch of the imagination. And as I was saying before, sometimes goalies do take longer to develop, but I just don't think that just the fact that they went out at the draft and picked up 3 extra goalies, it sometimes speaks to the fact that they have intentions maybe of moving on, especially if somebody like Dobes is coming along very well, and some of the guys like Fowler will start to develop, and it's going to be hard for him to find a spot in Montreal.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. A lot of people talk about Kalchenak, so maybe bring this one and this. What you feel about the Kalchenak incident and overall?
Well, it's very unfortunate, right? I think Arizona did the right thing, their due diligence in terms of not getting involved in this, and dismissing his contract. There's no excuse for what he did. The you know I mean, he was drunk. He was part of an attack and racial slur towards police officers, from what I hear, and a few other things as well. I think a hit and run as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's a lot to take in. I think he has to think about becoming and healing himself first before he can think about the NHL. And obviously, some things are coming to the surface that he needs to really get some help with. And I don't know if I don't know how they'll go about doing it, but there are a lot of avenues for him to pursue. But I think Arizona had absolutely no choice in the matter.
Well said. I think this is the end for him in NHL. I don't see any team going to give him another opportunity. This is going to be KHL if he want to play hockey still. Look, I feel pressure from him. Very demanding, hard dad behind the scenes. I don't want to judge or said, I don't want to make excuse for Alex Galchenyuk. It's just like the environment of him, around him, people surround him was not easy at the end of the day for him. And sometimes athletes try to find another way to find the happiness to get out, and that's for him. He was this obviously the drugs and the drinking was one reason why he was doing this, because that's a way he can get out of what he has every day from the dad, everything like that. So it's very sad news, very sad events, unfortunately for Galchenyuk, but I don't see him to come back in NHL very soon. So we answer a couple of questions about that. Pierre Martin is in the house, Mr. Nortap. Pierre Martin is in the house. Pete Martin, I call him the Pit Martin. About this, okay, let's ask you this. Any chance the team pick up? We answer your question. Willie have a great question. What do you see as a Martin St. Louis coach approach for the season 2023-2024?
Well, I don't see it differing too much, Willie, from where he was at this year. I think his expectations, if anything, are going to be a little bit more for the team, because he's starting to see the core coming together a little bit more as well. And rightfully it should be, right. Like, I think every year you should anticipate improvement on your squad. I think once you get to a certain point, your expectations should always be to make the playoffs. I don't think that, unfortunately, this year that'll be the case for Montreal. Maybe not so much a reflection on the team and its youth, but more a reflection of how strong the East is right now, and it's going to be difficult to get a spot. And it's not quite their time yet, right? I think maybe if we talk a couple years down the road, playoffs are a definite viable chance for them. But right now, his expectations have to continue to be what he's established them to be from the beginning: to be fair, to be a teacher, to allow players to make mistakes, yet show over time that you're improving on those mistakes. He doesn't want them to be timid and not take opportunities. So I think he's going to continue in that vein.
Well said, Mr. Tap. What do you think about Pessoa go on the waiver because the long jump and the forward position?
No, I think he'll be one of those players that's going to be, he's going to be, your 13th forward. Possibly he might sit out some games and then come in. He's the kind of guy that he's not going to complain about that. And number one, that's what you want, is a player that's not going to complain. Number two, when he does come in, he's going to give it 100% every single shift that he plays. What he lacks in talent sometimes he makes up with effort, and of course we know that he's ready to stand up for anybody on the team at any point. So you know, he was very content signing that 2-year contract, knowing that his responsibilities and his role were specifically outlined for him, and he accepted that. So I don't see him pouting or anything like that.
It could be an option if Montreal have to, because if you have a training camp like Enneman, Ilonen, and other players that step up and they have to push someone, it could be one of them. It will not be the first one. I see other players in front of him, but it could happen to him if it is necessary because they have no choice, Mr. Top, in my opinion.
It could be. Could be.
GP is in the house. Jean-Pierre GP Guérin is in the house. Welcome back. Great comments, Randy, about, you just said, Williams Samsonov is on arbitration. Great about that. A lot of people talk each other, try to pick it up. Question. Pierre Martin, do you think or Nicolas Gouin will play more games this year for the Habs? 2-way contract. He did score a goal, and the only game he played last season for the Habs. He's not afraid to drop the glove.
True, he's not, but I just don't see with the log jam that they have right now, him being there, unless it's for a very limited period of time. But definitely at the Laval level, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Pierre Baudin played with the Montreal Canadiens last season. Maybe you talk about Condotta. Lucas Condotta scored his first goal at the first start against Boston Bruins. But I understand your point of view about this. In a 22 game in NHL, Baudin have 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 point mission on tap. Do you think makes sense a trade Nylander for Nikash and Pesce?
I wouldn't if I were Carolina. I would not trade Nikash.
All right.
One, I think he's solid. He's solid.
Alors, oui, mon Nicolas, on va avoir une question. Detroit asks, how do you feel about McDavid getting 64 goals?
Well, it's not out of his realm of possibility. I don't think it'll be that high this year for him, simply because I think they're going to try to really spread out the scoring a little bit more. I think that they've learned that 2 players alone cannot necessarily carry the load. It has to be, yes, your elite players, in this case, Draisaitl and McDavid, but you got to have your role players contributing on a night-to-night basis, and that goes as far as the 4th line.
Well said about this. A couple of comments for the app about Gallagher, and then we have Mark G. I agree with you about the forward. Bush asked this question on the top. We have about 10 more minutes. Gallagher should bet make app decision go back in American Hockey League.
I don't think it's a sure bet. I don't see that, to be honest. I think he probably...
I believe he's the first one, Mr. Top.
That will go down or will make it?
No, to go down.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think he'll be more suited for that. He brings a lot of experience because let's keep in mind, I believe I'm trying to remember exactly what the number is in terms of the Laval players this October that are going to be 22 years of age and younger. There's something like 80% of them are around that age. In one way, that's why they didn't want to lose Basil as well. He was really one of their more experienced leaders there. So if you put Picklick there, it does help round up that team, because even though they're going to be a very good team, they'll probably get off to a bit of a slow start until they, manage to bring it around, because the talent's there. It's just that they're very, very young right now.
I'm sorry, questions. Just took a quick look at the new schedule. One additional game against Boston and more evenly distributed. Any thought about this one, Mr. Top?
One additional game against Boston?
Yeah.
We're talking about Montreal?
Yeah, so what happening, Mr. Tap, is like sometime you schedule every year, you play 3 game or 4 game. Is yet different
Oh,
changing
right.
overall, like maybe for a specific team. So it's happened every year. That's one thing I can say. I don't think anything about this. It's good for Montreal to have an extra
No.
game against Boston Ball. If it's the case.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's all computer generated anyway, so that doesn't happen on a consistent basis. It alternates from year to year.
Yep, so right. Baron role as a coach will be. So what we heard, I don't know if you answered. I think you answered a little bit earlier. You have two places. You could become a coach, a development coach for the Montreal Canadiens. If you want to see that area, you could become the business hockey operation at some point for Paul Biron. For what we heard, Mr. Artap, for what we expect for this. If the Habs stay and the LT, they might make the playoff for WST about this one. Then thanks so much for all the likes. RJ, thank you for 48. Mr. Tap, a couple of things for you before we go to Fire YI, the last part of the show, Mr. Tap. Something we do every day, Mr. Tap, for over 1 year at the channel. And we go to disappear, but not the screen. And I'm talking about the pool we do every single day, Mr. Tap. Question for you. How many goals for the Montreal Canadiens Brendan Gallagher is going to do for upcoming season? You can see the result 1549. What it would be your answer of this question, Mr. Natap?
Yeah, one of those votes was mine. I went with 11 to 15 as well.
So you are part of the 49% on that
Yeah.
one, Mr. Natap.
Yeah.
Question for today, Mr. Natap. This is a great one because someone asked a WSC talk about the playoff. Which season do you believe the Montreal Canadiens are back in the NHL playoff? This is the question. Is out for the last 24 minutes, Mr. Natap.
Yeah, this one's a good one. So I'm kind of fluctuating between choice B and choice C there, 20, 24, 25 if things go really well, but more than likely probably 25, 26.
You're absolutely right about this. I will skip to go all the way to 26, 27, Mr. Tap, but 25, 26, 25, 26 is the season where I believe Montreal are going to be ready on the pool, Mr. Tap. Well said, well done. Glad we're sharing this together about this one there. Mr. Tap, are you ready? Because I'm going to surprise you. You have to give me
Uh-huh.
3 words. You have to describe me when you see a picture like that. Now, first of all, it's not this one. Who would you have as your team, Mr. Tap? Cole Caulfield, Matt Boldy, Dawson Mercer, or Dylan Gazin, Mr. Tap?
Oh, goodness. Not easy, eh? Who would you rather have? Man. I'm going to say Dawson Mercer for that one.
Dawson Mercer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4 guys, a player are very successful in NHL on different area of the game, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's really hard to go that. A lot of people like Carlson for the Buffalo Sabres and
Even
Boldy. The
Boldy.
problem with Mercer, Mr. Tap, is still not a top 6 yet for them, but his player could be there. Really, you cannot make any wrong choice right now on that one over there. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I like the size of Mal Boldy. Dylan Cousin, I think, is a wild card on that 4 picks right there. Of course, Cole Caulfield is the one behind everything. And also, we already know what's going on about that one there. I'll go back and forth, Mr. Top. Pierre-Martin believe I'm not give up on Primo. Look at how good he was with the Rocket last year. He claimed to be an NHL ready. The problem, Pierre, is if he go back in Laval, he become on the waiver. Will be interesting if the team keep up, pick him up or not. If we see LT and we get good Golden Dane, a playoff could be a possibility with a few surprise. Joe believe on that one there. Do you think Montreal can make the playoff, Mr. Tap?
I mean, I think it's very difficult, Coach. Yeah, even if everything goes really, really well, it's just that there's so many teams that are a little bit ahead of the game right now for us. Even though we're going to probably see a bit of a drop in Boston. We're going to see probably a drop in Washington and Pittsburgh. By the way, neither one of those two made the playoffs last year. The Islanders aren't ready to necessarily go away. They're still going to have the same problems they did. But I think that it's the other teams, the younger teams that are on the scene that are starting to really come into their own. And I'm talking about the likes of obviously Buffalo and Ottawa and Detroit and who else am I missing here? There's another one. But they're all ready to knock on the door and make that playoff spot. So I think that they're in a position to get there before Montreal does.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I think for me, remember, guys, Montreal did not improve too much their team at the end of the day, right? They got back Monahan. They're not increasing high-level players in their lineup this summer. I will affect New Hook, but it's still not. He's only 22 years old. Look about what happened with Detroit. Look about what's going on with the other team and the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, Coach, if at least the injuries aspect is maintained at a very low amount, I think we'll see improvement just based on that. Even though it's the same
the
players
things will be
coming
better,
back
of course. I agree with you. It's
Yeah.
just the fact to jumping
So
for the make
that
the
alone-
point. Like 92 points on
Exactly.
top to 72 points,
Yeah,
20
it's
points.
impossible. Yeah.
So I don't think so. It will be happening on my side. Randy Godin is in the house. Randy, thanks so much. Don't forget, get to click on the eyes. Roger, going to talk about gambling situation like that the next couple of days. So I don't want to go deeper about that one. But I feel the point of view about this. So I don't want to go deep about that for sure. Nicolas de Goubi-Bonneau is in the house. Welcome back. The Atlantic Division is low. I agree with you, Pierre Martin. Great comments about this one. Luc Lafortune is in the house, Mr. Tap. Luc Lafortune is in the house. When we select, we have to thinking about of course, of the quiz. Sangali to American Gate, it can mentor the young guys about this one. There, the problem, you're going to have a salary cap of $5 million. Mr. Rodney back in the house. Redcliffe, the app will make the playoff, and Toronto won. Rodney mentioned about this one over there. And they gotta go to 2029, 2029, 30. Listening 25, 26. Exactly what they're going to get. RJ. Caulfield, Gallagher career season. Andrew Willis in the house. Welcome back, Andrew. Thanks so much to be with us. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. Carson for Nicolas, Boldy for WST. Brooke Garfield signed with the Leave American Acrylic. Luciano, you're absolutely about this one over there. A couple of you for RG about this one. I tried to pick it up, everything like that. Pierre Martin, Caulfield, Carson for Randy Walkman. Thanks so much. Franco, 25 have been ready, but look like we lost a year since we are talking about making the playoff. It's because we are great point, Franco, 25, 26. Try to pick up everything here. David Perron, which player you want, Mr. Notab? Joe Pavelski, Claude Giroux, David Perron, or Mark Zuccarello?
As of right now, or in their primes?
Who will you rather have right now?
Right now. Man, I like them all, to be honest with you. I think what Pavelski's doing at his age is remarkable. It's amazing. I think Perron has done wonders in helping not only St. Louis when he was with St. Louis, but now what he's doing with Detroit. Look at Zuccarello. Like every year, you see a small player, but this guy is 100% energy, and he brings it every time. And how can you go wrong with Claude Giroux, Coach? I mean, look at his stats year to year, consistent.
Well, that's the reason they are the four together, Mr. Tap. You complicate
I know. I'm just trying to give a little bit of a preamble here, but you know what? I'll go with Pavelski.
Awesome. A lot of comments in the chat. I really appreciate everybody talk about everything like that. We're going to talk about this, Detroit, your question in a few minutes. About this. Mr. Tap, I ask you this question, Mr. Tap. Description in 3 words.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Well, what do you want me to describe in 3 words?
Are you ready?
You're trying to muzzle me. You're muzzling me. Okay, go ahead. No chance. Can I use 4 words? In hell.
Brad Marchand with a Toronto Maple Leafs on our tap description and 3 words. This is we ask this question, guys, in the chat. If you don't mind, there'll be some you can do add about this. At the same time, Mr. Tap, can you talk about Sheffley? Do you think Mark Sheffley and Kyle Connor are good players for the Winnipeg Jets, Mr. Tap?
Well, Connor for sure. I mean, he's probably been the most consistent player that they've had over the last 3 years. I think that he brings speed and scoring to the game, and he's a good checker when he wants to be. Shifley is, I mean, he's a different story in my eyes. Like, I know that they got rid of Wheeler. That
I
was
feel,
one of
Mr.
the
Tap, I
areas.
feel he fit good with Carolina Hurricane.
Shifley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would. I mean, the only thing I'm questioning here, and again, I don't have much to base it on except what you see from game to game, and sometimes that's not fair because we like these players, they're in the heat of the moment sometimes, and he's done some questionable things on the ice that lead me to believe that sometimes he's not necessarily a team player. He's more of a me first kind of player. And again, that's just my impression. I'm not saying that that's the case or that anybody has to agree with it, but I just see that aspect of in his game creeping up from time to time. And if that's the case, it goes totally against what Carolina is because it's team first and then yourself. So that way, I don't see it fitting in. But I see what you're saying, that he complements a good core of players, and this guy can score. There's no doubt about that. It might be just exactly what they need, but are they willing to take that risk?
My point behind that in Tap is like one, you are all the pressure. You're the number one players, blah blah blah, and now you become the number 4 or 5 of the team, and you play a secondary role. Sometimes some players adjust themselves better. They still have 80 points per season, by the way, but I think I feel that's the kind of player he can very do well at those situations with the Hurricane, with structure organized. I think that player could become a good asset for the Carolina Hurricane. That would be a really good punch, 1 and 2, when you add Sheffley and Ao. Kokanemi stalled, and then Kokanemi at some point when stalled, take a retire, that would be a Kokanemi spot. Is that another way we can talk about this? Great question for everybody. 3 words, Mr. Tab, are you crazy? Oh, not a chance. All the 3 words in the chat about Brad Marchand, Mr. Tab. That's what we got here on that one over there. So that's what we got here, Mr. Tab, for this one. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be awesome. I just want to share with you, Mr. Tap, a couple of news very quickly. And NHL, a contract new players. Anaheim signed Dosdal, the goaltender. Minnesota signed Duhaime. St. Louis, Toropchenko. Pittsburgh signed Ty Smith. And the Tampa Bay Lightning signed Tanner Janot. About this one over there. The end for Jonathan Toews, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, it looks that way.
It looked like he did not mention his Asian have about 20 player, maybe 10 player on the UFA, and he never requests anything about Jonathan Toews, Mr. Tap. That would give a good indication possible this is the end for Jonathan Toews in NHL.
Great career, great player.
What do you feel about Tony DeAngelo, Mr. Tap?
Trouble wherever he goes. Trouble. Very talented offensive defenseman, but trouble. I'd stay away.
Mr. Franco read my mind. He talked about DeAngelo at the same time. I put the DeAngelo in the screen. Really strange, right? 42 points, and you still not be acceptable for any team. And another, locker room, sometimes it starts right there, Mr. Tap. It's not on the ice, the problem. It's more inside the locker room, I believe, is the biggest problem for him. Eric Carlson look like is a destination for Pittsburgh, and the only thing hold that trait is because the retaining money salary for Carlson between 30, 40, or 50%. It looked like they will need a third party to make that trade. If not, it will not happen between Pittsburgh and the San Jose Sharks. Pittsburgh tried to open up more salary cap to get Carlson. Looked like they tried to send Jeff Petrie and Michael Granlund to get that money for Carlson. So it's another subject to follow up. That will be one of the players who are going to be traded. The San Jose Sharks are going to sign Matt Tomba when the Carlson is going to leave the building. If he leaves the building, Mr. Nartap. Anything else, Mr. Nartap?
No, that looks good, Coach.
Sound good to me. Are you ready for the Frenchy Quiz?
Oh, my goodness. Not really, but let's do it.
Let's do it all together, guys. Going to finish the show. It's a Monday and a Sunday night at the Hockey Nation Show, guys. We appreciate everybody to be part. Don't forget, we'll be back this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for another week. Wednesday night, guys, this is a big show for the Montreal Canadiens. Every Wednesday night for the rest of the year, we're going to do the Habs Nation barbecue show right now for the summer, but this show is going to be live all year long, the Wednesday night and the Sunday morning. The brunch is going to be back in October. But Mr. Top, time to Frenchy Quiz. I'm talking about Mr. Leaderboard is RJ Calabro. Mr. Top is a 6-time the winner of the contest so far this year. And then we have RJ. Steve G, Andy Coivula, and Ghislain Laframboise are the winner of the last show. And I want to mention to you, Mr. Top, Andy Coivula is on the straight of 2-time back-to-back, Mr. Nartap, on the contest of the Frenchy Quiz. Tonight, guys, couple of questions, very interesting. The last two will be fun. The first one is just a normal one, but I can wait to see each one of you. If you live in the building, guys, first of all, don't forget to click on the likes. And then finally, if you want to join us live for the quiz, it's time to participate. Here we go, Mr. Top. We have this for you at the beginning of the show, on the Frenchy Quiz.
Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go, Mr. Top. Most point by a goalie over the last 5 seasons in NHL. Who has the most point and the NHL as a goaltender? Is it Max Strom, Jarry, Vasilevsky, Mike Smith, and Connor Hellebuck? Who has the most point by the goaltender in NHL in the last 5 seasons? Here we go. Sébastien, thanks so much. And Rabinat Dubas, well, you're going to have to run all over you. And Rabinat, a lot of people. And look, he said, welcome back, Luke, by the way. And see who we have answer tonight, Mr. Tap, who is going to give us the right answer to question number 1. Nicolas say A, Luc Laforcine say E. Thanks so much. 3 first question. Look at Nicolas. Zeph Lecave back in the house. Is calling and return home. Look. Then we have Sébastien at C. Andy D. They add C. Thanks so much for both of your answer. D, he said Andy. We have Real Deal. Thanks so much. Mr. Nartap, what is your answer on that one?
The last 5 seasons. So my first impulse was to go with Mike Smith.
We have Larry Lavallée, RJ, Pierre Martin, Danny T. Welcome back, Danny. I got your stuff, Danny. Thanks so much. I appreciate that, Danny, by the way. Mr. Natap, you answer this one. Nicolas, go with A.
I'm going to stick with Smith. I know he didn't play this year, but I know he's usually pretty good at getting, 3 or 4 assists per year. So I'm going to go with D.
We go with D for exactly what AK. Do we have other people in the chat, guys? We're going to give you about 10 more seconds. If you don't mind, that'd be great. We'll wait. And don't forget to click on the like. That'd be awesome. If you leave the building, 10 more seconds. Mr. Tap, look like we have the last 5, last 3, last 2, last 1, Mr. Tap.
Oh, my God!
And we ask you, Mr. Tap, your second option.
Oh, goodness gracious. Vasilevsky?
You're absolutely right, Mr. Natap. It was your second option. It was Mr. Andrei Vasilevsky. The winner of this guy is Sebastian the Habs and Real Deal Prim. Take the lead, Mr. Tap, after the first question. Thanks so much for your participation. We're going to move on to question number 2 of this contest today. Mr. Tap, fun fact in NHL.
What's the fact?
NHL owns have a major penalty shot. The minor penalty shot was to be taken from how many feet? When they have a minor penalty, Mr. Tap, they have to have a penalty shot. It was from 14 feet, 20 feet, 28 feet, 36 feet, or directly from the blue line, Mr. Tap. When you have a penalty shot for a minor penalty. It's a fact. It's happening in NHL for 1 year, Mr. Tap.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I did not know me for them at all, to be honest with you, about that.
Wow.
Mr. J is in the house. Welcome back, Mr. J. Don't forget, guys, to click on that one there. Larry Lavelli, go with E. Thanks so much, Larry. The blue line. Normally, guys, the red line. So you can see we have no red line. So that's happening about this. We have they have go with E. Sebastian with C. Thanks so much. We have a few people. And so we have to wait a little bit longer. Mr. Natap. Vinny 007 back in the house. RJ, thanks so much. Luc Laverson with D. Thanks so much. RJ and Vinny with A. Nicolas go with C. Pierre Martin with B. Thanks so much, Pierre Martin, for that one over there. We have N. Rabinab with B. And we'll wait for a little bit more longer. So the time is on top. You can give us your answer on that one over there. And they go with E.
I have no idea. I'm just going to guess here. I'm going to go with B. 20.
B for 20 feet for Mr. On that one over there. Jean-Pierre Guérin said to C for him. If we ask you, Mr. Nartap, your second option.
The blue line?
The blue line. Oh, my God! The answer, guy, is 28 feet on that one over there. And we have Nicolas de Gobi-Bonneau, Mr. Natap, Jean-Pierre Guérin, or GP Guérin, and Sébastien for the second 2 and 2 for Sébastien tonight. Take the lead, Mr. Natap, on that after 2 questions. So congratulations for both. We have one more question to go, guys, before we complete the show tonight. And this one, Mr. Natap, is another fact. Oh, my God! Are you ready?
What year, by the way, what year was that?
1939, by the way, Mr. Natap.
Oh, wow.
1929. Here we go, Mr. Natap. It could be easy or it could be difficult, but it's a good one. A fact, Mr. Natap. Timo Selänne has a tattoo on his ankle. Which country is a tattoo? The Finland, the USA, the Canada, the Sweden, or the Germany?
Oh my gosh. Can I ask his wife?
Is it not crazy to hear that? Is it? Coach tried to go around. Do you believe Coach is honest on that one? Do you think he felt something?
Yeah.
That's who I am, Mr. Natap. We'll see how the people are going to trust me or not. Danny, go with A. Thanks so much, Danny, on that one. And don't go nowhere, guys. We have some things going on at the end of the show. Larry with D. We have KLS with A. Ariel with C. Thanks so much. Look at Watson with A. And Rabinov with A.
These, Coach?
So again?
Where do you get these questions? I don't know.
GP with A about this. If Sebastian is right, guys, the game is over, by the way. Sebastian is 2 and 2 so far. So Willie Snyder with A about this one over there. Pierre Martin said C. Thanks so much, Pierre Martin. About this one. Sebastian is from Finland. Helsinki, Finland, easy for Nicolas. Do we have any other people? They have go with E, Germany. About this one over there. I just tried to pick it up if someone could join Sébastien if he's not right. Look like we got and so the center tap Frank, welcome in the house. Frank, first time in the house. Welcome inside the Hockey Nation Show family. Thanks for your answer. Go with A, and Sébastien go with A. Mr. Tap, what is your answer?
Well, the obvious choice is A, Finland. I don't know why he would have any other flag on any part of his body, but I'll go with A. But
KLS, yes, you missed the first two questions, Mr. KLS, about this one. Mr. Natal, go with A.
Yeah. No. What's my second choice?
What is your second option, Mr. Natal?
Oh my goodness. I'm surprised, but I knew it would be too obvious. I got to go with he played for Edmonton, so I don't know. Let's go with C, Canada. I don't know.
Here we go, Mr. Natap. It's Sweden, Mr. Natap.
Wow.
What happened, Mr. Natap? He went to the tattoo, and the guy became nervous, and he designed the tattoo of Sweden on his country and not the Finland. And this is back is on Twitter account. Always sent to you, Mr. Natap. Yeah, so it's a real. Look, it's a lie. It's not a lie. It was confirmed on the Twitter account today. So the answer, Mr. Top, he had a tattoo on the Sweden country from the guys to do that, Mr. Top.
That's like saying I have a Maple Leaf tattoo. No way. I can't believe it.
The winner of this one, guys, I will try to find back. I will show to you tomorrow night, Mr. Natap, about this. I try if I can record it. Sébastien is the only winner tonight, Mr. Natap, of the contest tonight. Sébastien at 2 and 3 tonight. Congratulations.
Oh, I got shut out tonight. Okay.
KLS, I would be so pissed. Sébastien is on the ball. Rookie mistake, RDP. That one over there. Pierre Martin is crazy about this one there. By the way, look, I believe Lafortune, not Lafortune, but Larry Lavallée, it was right on the last question, I believe, about this one over there. So that's conclude, guys, Mr. Nartap. This is a great show tonight. Of the Hockey Nation Live Show. We have a great time together, Mr. Natap. Always a pleasure having you with us. You always deliver great content with a lot of questions tonight. This is your show, guys. Honestly, if you leave the building, don't forget to click on the light. I'll be back tomorrow night again, talking about NHL and Montreal Canadiens. Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night, the big show of the Habs Nation with Marco Larabi and Mr. Enartap, if both are back. First of all, Mr. Enartap, we want to wish good luck for Marco Larabi. It was the day of the tomorrow. Monday is the day he's make the big move from Ottawa to Hawkesbury for that one over there. So that's happening for this. If you missed the beginning of the show, guys, we mentioned this today. I want to share in the news. We talked about him last Wednesday. We gave the show to him. I'm talking about our friend André Robert Drouin. André lost his battle of the cancer and he passed away during the weekend. André has been with us. I said earlier, Mr. Top, for a couple of months, but he was over 8 months with us, more active in the last couple of months in the chat and of the App Daily News comments. Become a great friend for the family of the Hockey Nation. And unfortunately for him, he lost his battle, like I mentioned. And with sadness, we have to hear that this during the weekend. So usually, Mr. Tap, we finish the show with, you have greatness inside of you. And we wish with everybody booyah at the end of the show. But I want to come back with finishing the show to RIP André Drouin, Robert Drouin. So we're going to complete the show this way for one more, for that way, for the special night for André, our friend. And look, he's right now watching us. He's smiling to us. And the best thing about this, Mr. Tap, I know I have some sadness during the weekend about him, but he's suffered so much. The last 2 weeks, more the last 3 days, Mr. Tap, at the point was only the brain was not follow up, is what he was trying to accomplish for what he told me. So, look, he's at the right spot right now, and hopefully we're going to see him again when it will be the time to get there. So, we're going to finish this way, Mr. Tap. We want to thank you, everybody in the chat. We want to thank the moderator. We want to thank you, Mr. Tap, to be a part of the show. But we want to remind this to one more time to specifically for André Robert Drouin, Mr. Nartab, because he was for the Hockey Nation Show this way. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Yes, you have greatness, Mr. Andre. Thanks so much for sharing all the contents you bring to us at the Hockey Nation Show. Mr. Nartab, we wish you an amazing, great night, everybody. And I look forward to see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Have a sweet dream, everybody.